right, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us here in the beautiful springtime in Louisville. And speaking about beautiful things, one of the things I really appreciate about our community, I've grown to appreciate it more every day, is that there are a lot of different points of view on almost every issue you can imagine throughout our community. And that brings us a lot of in-depth conversations and issues, including sometimes disagreements about the best path or best decision. But today, we are gathered to celebrate something that there should be no disagreement about, and that is the need to support the health and well-being of our employees through paid parental leave. I want to really thank the Metro Council for their unanimous vote last month to approve the measure. I thought that was very impressive, a unanimous vote in creating 12 weeks of paid leave for parents welcoming a child by birth or adoption, and 2 weeks for families receiving a child placed through foster or kinship care. And this is something that we've been talking about for quite some time and quite a few years, and it took the perfect alignment of the stars to push this over the goal line. And when it was done unanimously, I said, this is a good day for our city. You're going to hear in a minute from Councilwoman Cassie Chambers Armstrong, who was one of the council sponsors who worked for the passage of this measure. But I also want to acknowledge her District 8 predecessor, former Councilman Brandon Cohn, who first proposed and advocated for this idea last year before leaving office when he decided not to run again. And Brandon is with us here today, and I'd ask everybody to join me in a round of applause for his initiative and commitment to this important measure. Way to go, Brandon. It's a big smile behind his mask there, you can see. So I want to thank Brandon and thank all the council members who sponsored this measure along with Councilwoman Chambers Armstrong, specifically Keisha Dorsey and Nicole George and Jessica Green, who made sure that adoptive parents were included in the measure. And Councilwoman Nicole George is with us here as well, so thank you, Councilwoman. Also, Amy Holton Stewart, Anthony Piangentini, James Peden, and Council President David James. So it took a real team to get behind this, and once they decided to do it, boy, did they ever do it. And I can tell you, as the father of 4 children and the relatively new grandfather of 1, this is like, I would think this would feel liberating, especially as a mom, to have this extra benefit here. There's just so much that goes on in those first hours and days and weeks and months of having a new kid, that having this time to really absorb all of that, even if it's your first child or second, third, or fourth, absorbing it into the family and having all that where you feel much better about it when you come back to work, I think is just a real relief for our parents here in the community. So it's a really great step for us. So Councilwoman Chambers Armstrong, if you would share some of your thoughts with us, please. Speaking of a mom, yeah. Okay, come on up here.
Yes, and I want to echo the mayor's thanks. This really was a team effort, and so thank you to all the co-sponsors. Thank you to everyone who was a part of this effort. As a mom of 2 children who are both still currently under 2, I am so proud of our city today. Nationally, we know that less than 40% of workers and fewer than 1 in 4 government workers have access to any form of paid parental leave. This is true even though we know that a lack of access to paid leave is tied to negative health outcomes for both parents and for children. And so historically, too many parents and children have had to make tough choices because we as a society haven't had the policies in place to support them. And for the 5,000 city workers here in Louisville, that changes today. Today, Louisville is leading the way and being the type of compassionate employer that we want others to be. Since this ordinance unanimously passed council, I've heard from individuals, from businesses, from other policymakers who have wanted to learn more about paid leave and how to implement it. Our city has led with its values, and people are taking notice. We have started a conversation, and I hope other stakeholders in our community will continue to discuss the benefits of paid leave and why it makes sense. Not only does it make financial sense by increasing worker productivity and decreasing turnover, it's also the right thing to do for our working families. Working families have struggled during this pandemic. We know that. We've seen a record number of parents, particularly women, leave the workforce because of childcare needs. This migration of moms out of the workplace has set us back, and we must continue to focus on family-friendly policies that will support parents as they re-enter the workplace. With the signing of paid parental leave today, our city is saying that we hear those working families, we hear their struggles, and we are willing to lead the way in supporting them. So thank you again to everyone who has been a part of this effort. I'm so, so proud to have been a part of this, and thank you all.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Appreciate that very much, and the role model that you show us. It's we had 4 kids under the age of 7, and look, it's a lot. Is it politically incorrect for me to say that it's a lot harder on the moms than it is on the dads, or is that still acceptable thing to say? Because that's just the facts. But observing my wife handling that load was just incredible, and she was a physician at the same time. So these benefits are super, super important. And speaking about a physician that's a mother of 4 herself, Dr. Sarah Moyer, who oversees our Public Health and Wellness Department and the Chief Health Strategist for the city, is going to share some of, I hope, your personal insights about the benefit of something like this, but certainly your insights as our Chief Health Strategist. Dr. Moyer?
Thanks, Mayor. It's great to be back in person. As a mom of 4 young kids under 7, as the mayor mentioned, and your health department director, I am thrilled to be here today at the signing of the paid parental leave bill. At Louisville Metro Department of Public Health and Wellness, we envision a healthy Louisville where everyone and every community thrives. And we've been advocating for this policy because of the clear public health benefits provided by paid parental leave. Paid parental leave results in lower rates of infant mortality and increased rates of well baby checkups and vaccinations. It increases rates and duration of breastfeeding, which in turn increases bonding, brain development, and immune function in babies. Breastfeeding also reduces a woman's risk of breast and ovarian cancer and really helps prevent maternal depression. Paid parental leave also increases father-infant bonding and father engagement, which leads to improved health and development outcomes in children. But most importantly, paid parental leave for all Metro employees also improves health equity. As a financially well-off professional, I was blessed to be able to take 12 weeks of paid parental leave after the birth of my children, but not everyone in my organization had the time saved or could afford to do so. Now everyone in Metro Government will have the opportunity to reap the same health benefits I was able to. So on behalf of the Louisville Health Department, thank you to Louisville Metro Council members for unanimously supporting 12 weeks of paid parental leave for Metro employees. We applaud Metro Government for leading this initiative, and we hope to see Louisville's business community follow our example of supporting families, improving equity, and promoting public health. So thank you, everyone. Really excited to be here. Sorry. Christy Jeffries is here today. She is one of our counselors at the Moore Center and will be one of the first Metro Government employees to benefit from this ordinance. And so she is here to take any questions later and just to speak about her excitement as well, too.
All right, thank you, Dr. Moyer. And as you said, one of the important things about this ordinance for us here kind of personally at Metro Government is the message that it sends to our employees. I would like to join my colleagues here in encouraging all of the employers here in Louisville to look into paid parental leave, understand the benefits of it, and then bring it into your organization. And any short-term costs will be far exceeded by the benefits, I believe, for you as an employer. So let's see if we can make that happen here in our community. But it certainly sends a strong message to our employees, Metro Government employees, which we have around 5,000 or so, that we care about their physical health and their mental health, and we want to support the well-being of their families. And as the council noted in approving the message, it will help us both recruit and retain our employees, which is critical to keep providing seamless services to our citizens. So I'd like to invite Ernestine Booth, who's our city's Director of Human Resources and was a big advocate for this bill as well, to speak a little bit more about it. Ernestine?
Thank you, Mayor Fisher, and thank you to the members of Metro Council for working with the administration to bring paid parental leave to fruition. This is an incredible benefit to our Metro employees. We're looking at helping our families. So this ordinance is a focus on families. We're not only helping our employees welcome new members to their families, but we're also helping Metro government welcome new members to our Metro family. The current job market is extremely competitive. So looking for individuals to fill our roles that have certain skill sets, it's sometimes difficult to attract those individuals. Well, with benefits like paid parental leave, we're able to attract and retain individuals that are eager and ambitious to either start their career or that are already established in their career fields looking for a family-centered workplace. Paid parental leave opens up that door and allows us to introduce those individuals to a workplace that's family-centric. So this bill, this ordinance, allows Metro government to open our doors and welcome in those individuals into our community. So we thank you, and we thank the ordinance, and we thank the community and the partnerships that we have with Metro Council in making this a possibility. It's going to drastically improve our recruitment and our retention efforts. Thank you.
Okay, well, I'm proud of our council, and I'm proud of my administration for passing this, and I can't miss this opportunity, though, to make a couple comments of national import on this. We're having to do all these things at a local level because there's not a federal policy around paid parental leave. And when you look at other countries that we compete with, especially European countries, paid parental leave is just standard operating procedure, as is child care, as is universal pre-K, and then oftentimes free college as well. And so there's plenty of countries out there that kind of look at the investments that go into individuals and go into families and see that in a different way than we do here in our country. But I think we're increasingly understanding the benefit to investing in families, investing in children early on in their lives so that we have more solid families and more solid adults later on in their lives as well. So I don't know what's going to be in President Biden's American Family Plan that will be coming out here in the next couple weeks, but I'll be really surprised if there's not issues in there like paid parental leave and child care for moms when they're going back to work, moms and dads when they're going back to work, and universal pre-K. But this gives us a real opportunity to redefine our country when we start putting resources behind these type of efforts and really showing the value we have to strong families, to strong kids, to strong moms, to strong dads, and that's a good investment any day of the week. So really happy that we're helping lead the way here in our city, and hope other businesses, other city governments in the country will follow as well. So with those comments, let's sign our bill, and then we'll take any questions. So this is ordinance number 44, which creates a new section of Chapter 35 of the Louisville Metro Code of Ordinances requiring the implementation of paid family leave. And with this stroke of the pen, it becomes official. Thank you all very much. Government in play. All right. We're happy to take any questions.
I guess you mentioned that this has kind of been in the works for several years. What was the turning point for finally getting the ball rolling and leading to today that had happened this year at this time?
Yeah, I think it was us getting through the cost concerns, frankly. Teresa Reno Weber, who was our founding chief for office, performance improvement office, was a strong advocate very early on in our administration. We had many comments with our leadership team about it. We're just always trying to figure out how we were going to be able to handle the cost behind it, frankly. And it was difficult to overcome that. But as the years went by, it was very clear that, look, you've got to understand, yeah, there's going to be some cost to this, but the benefits far outweigh what the costs are here. And I think it took some of the right council people in place at the right time. Councilman Cohn, at the end of his time serving his 4-year term, was a strong advocate for this. And people started looking at it really in a nonpartisan way, which in the early years it was a partisan issue as well. So, and then with Councilwoman Chambers Armstrong coming along, and then her colleagues, Councilwoman George and others, you had a group of council people together just kind of saying, look, this is a no-brainer. Okay, we got to figure out how to do this. So it was the right idea at the right time.
Do you think it puts pressure on other entities to follow suit?
I hope so. I just think that we're in an era of increasing awareness about the importance of investing in youth and investing in families. And there's no better way to do that than at the very beginning of their lives and having families come together. And I think America is questioning a lot of things. You know, we went through a year of 2020 where lots of different issues were raised in that. And people maybe were concerned about short-term costs before and really not understanding what the expense of not having good practices in place. So this is a family equity practice that's in place here.
Just one other question, unrelated, about Thunder over Louisville. It was the locations for the fireworks shows ended up being leaked today. What message would you send as KDF is telling people to stay away from those locations? Anything you'd like to add on to that?
Well, first, I mean, KDF does an incredible job, and they're an important partner of the community. So, yeah, I just would encourage everybody here to exercise common sense with our public health issues. Look, we're so close to getting through this pandemic, locally here especially, if everybody can get their vaccines when they're supposed to, but just don't congregate in large groups either. And so you'll be able to find a spot to see the fireworks just fine, just spread out much more than what you're used to. So please help us get through the pandemic and enjoy the fireworks at the same time. Okay, Krista, you want to comment about what this means to you? Huh? Come on up here. Second child in September. Come on, you got this.
I will say that I'm incredibly grateful to be working at the Public Health Department. I have worked with Metro for over 6 years as a counselor at the Moore Center. We have done amazing work, thanks to Dr. Moyer and a lot of our other colleagues as well. I am so thankful to be able to benefit from this. This is my second child with Metro. I have a 3-year-old daughter, and I had actually planned on taking 12 weeks, although it was going to be a strain on my family financially. And this allows me to be able to take time that I need to get to spend time with my 3-year-old daughter before I have a second one. So I am truly grateful for you all, because this has been an amazing thing for me. So thank you so much.
And why don't we hear from Councilwoman George, then former Councilman Cohn? No? You're a good person. You do all this good family work. Let's hear from you.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have anything more to add except to say that this is certainly tremendous, and I think to really hit on the fact that oftentimes within systems, we don't measure the cost of inaction and what that means to our system in the way of recruitment and retention. And I think Director Booth said it well when we expect to see that through this level of support, we're really going to be able to capitalize on our workforce and do the right thing. Thank you.
Let's hear from Councilman Brandon Cohn, former Councilman Cohn, who helped initiate this most recent round here. Councilman?
Thank you. I can't pass on the chance to make a few remarks since I don't get this opportunity anymore. And first, I really want to thank Mayor Fischer for inviting me today. It's an honor, and this doesn't always happen. But I'm really proud today too, for a lot of reasons. I was involved in a lot of legislation in my 4 years in office, and the unanimous votes are few and far between, and so that means it's good law, because all the tires were kicked by all the people on both sides of the aisle, and we worked really hard on this from mid-2020 until the time it was passed. And that includes me working with Councilwoman-elect Armstrong Chambers at the time. And I think we sort of redefined what you can do during a transition period in terms of even looking at policy. I just want to briefly thank again all my colleagues on the Metro Council. I want to thank Dr. Moyer. I worked really closely with the Health Department and the Center for Health Equity on a number of legislative items during my term in office. And you asked a question about what else made this the right time. And part of what got me interested also was a conversation with Dr. Moyer and building on, like the mayor said, research and work that had been done years ago to bring us to this point. And she'd identified it as a top priority among some others. And then finally, I'll just say that I am glad that this is a benefit that's available to the city of Louisville. I had the opportunity to work with, not directly with thousands of employees over 4 years, but directly with hundreds of employees and indirectly through everybody. And there are very few people whose salary in Louisville Metro Government from the mayor on down is commensurate with their responsibilities and their roles. And so this is a benefit that I think is good for city, helps us attract better candidates and retain better candidates, makes us more competitive and creates a workplace culture around Metro Government that is really going to make us more productive and more effective, and all that value accrues to the citizens of this community. So I think this is a really important step forward today for everybody. So thanks to everyone behind me, and thanks to everyone who made this possible. The mayor's given me the honor of asking if there are any more questions before we close out today's event. None? Then thank you very much, and good to see you, Tony Hyatt.